Welcome back, Truth Seeker. September 3rd, 2018. I want to read this comment that was left because I know what this person has written is something that happens to a lot of us when we start seeking truth and speaking truth. So he writes, Zach, what upsets me the most is knowing the knowledge that you teach, you can see all these coincidences, and he knows they're not coincidences. And I just realized that although I see through all of it, no matter who I try to tell and teach, nobody listens to me and just alienates the information in myself. Believing what you teach is considered stupid and retarded. It just upsets me. I can't spread the knowledge to people in my life. So, most of us who encounter this information go through the exact same thing. We try to talk about it with other people. They make fun of us. They call us crazy. They go to all the immediate stereotypes: tinfoil hat, mother's basement, conspiracy theorist. And it can be really upsetting. Most people are not willing to acknowledge the truth. It's not a coincidence that Hollywood put out A Few Good Men, and the only remembered line from that film is, "You can't handle the truth." That movie didn't come out too far before September 11th, 2001, which was a very obvious lie, and a lie that very few people wanted to investigate the truth of. So, all I can say is, if the truth's important to you, you have to weigh, everything's weighing the scales. If the truth's important to you and you decide it's more important than having a social life and good relations with your friends and family, then that's the choice you have to make. And that's a choice I had to make back in, well, I've actually had to make it numerous times, but I had to really make that choice in 2013 when I began pursuing this research and teaching about it. Because literally, almost everybody, less people than I can count on my hand, have stuck with me since then. One of my best friends growing up didn't invite me to his wedding that happened shortly after that. And I was his go-to guy his whole life. And, my mom always brings that up. She's like, ever since you started doing this, nobody even talks to you. You didn't even get invited to your best friend's wedding. And that's just the way it is. But what I decided in 2013 is, I'm so sick of the lies and the tyranny and what's going on in this world and the nonstop propaganda and the loss of liberties, that this is what's most important to me. Pursuing the truth, figuring out what's really going on, and teaching other people so we can wake up. And the thing about that is I've reached a lot of you. I can't tell you how many people have written to me in the last 5 years and said, "I'm so thankful for your teachings. It finally turned the light bulb on." There are some people who found this knowledge and happen to have the right people around them that are into this information, and that's been nice for them. But that's rare. For most of us, we find this, we're into this, and then it creates problems in our social life. So, part of being a healthy human being is having a good social life. And for me, what I've had all this time is I've had my girlfriend, and she's not exactly into this research, but she doesn't really hate on me for it. She wishes I would do other things with my time, but so I have her, and I have another good friend who's sort of open to this, and we can talk about it a little bit. And I've made some other friends because of this. And anyway, what I'm saying to you is, if you pursue truth because you want to, there's eventually probably going to be good things that come. Maybe you're going to make a really good friend down the road. Maybe you lose all your friends right now and your family hates on you, but if you pursue the path, good things will eventually come your way. But a word of caution, it's not going to be an easy path. And it really is easier to just ignore the truth and, just kick back and have a good time with your friends and listen to music and drink beer and watch TV and go to movies and play games and whatever else you do for your social life. That's why most people are that way. It's easier. Most people do what's easier. It's easier to not take care of yourself. It's easier to eat junk food that appeases your taste buds. We live in a lazy society. We live in an anti-intellectual society. We live in a society where people take the easier path more often than not. But like they say, no good things come easy. And, losing your friends and family over the truth, that's not exactly easy. And part of also my mission is, I feel that eventually one day a bunch of people who've disowned me, they're going to have to come back around and say, well, you know what? I got to admit, you were right. And maybe that'll never happen, but I'm thinking eventually it's going to start happening with some people in my life. And I think the first person in my life who might come around to admit that is my sister. You know, even though she's the furthest away from that right now, I think someday she's going to come around and realize what's really going on. But, stay strong out there, people. I think you should pursue the truth, even though it's the harder thing to do. And I don't know how old this person is. If you're younger, if you're a teenager, like if you're young Dakota's age, sometimes I just want to tell young Dakota to stop and just go enjoy his teenage years. Because, when you're young, I think it's important to have fun and make good memories and spend the time with your friends while you can. Because once you get older, you realize, your friends end up getting married or they're consumed with their job. And, the world's also isolating that way. So if you're young, I think you really should focus on enjoying your life and having fun. And I don't know how old this person is. I know how old young Dakota is. And sometimes I think he's too young to be doing this, but he's really into it and he's good at it. So he's old enough to make his own decision. But for young people out there, I would say, maybe follow the truth, but like keep it on the back burner and try to, maintain the normal, healthy social life and enjoyable things. Because the truth, as much as I don't like to say this, the truth can make the world less fun. Being aware of this, it can be mentally draining, it can be emotionally draining, and you got to be ready to take that on. And that was something I decided I was ready to take on in 2013, and I was in a position where I could do all the things I've done. And maybe not everybody's in that position. And another word of caution, for me doing this, it's now caused other problems in my life too. There are real problems that can come into your life from going after the truth, from losing your friends and family to maybe even losing your career and profession. I cannot work in my profession now. I went to grad school, I spent all this money to be a teacher, and now I'm not allowed to teach where I live. They say I'm not allowed to teach and they won't give me a reason, and the only thing I can assume is that it's because of doing this. There's not really any other reason in the world that I shouldn't be allowed to teach. I'm good at it. I have a master's degree. I have a teaching certificate. I have experience. There's no reason for me to be blacklisted from teaching. I don't have any criminal record that has anything to do with children, So, yeah, there's consequences to telling the truth. But like they say, no good deed will go unpunished. So, again, you got to weigh the scales. What are your priorities? Do you want to be happy? Because if you want to be happy, well, and it's not to say that it's just such a tough conversation, is it? But generally speaking, if you want to be happier, it's probably just easier to not worry about the truth and all the, depressing things in this world and just to do things that you like, Friends, family, music, cooking, traveling, But if you want to do something righteous and something that needs to be done in this world and be part of changing the world, if it's even possible, then you got to take the harder path. So we'll leave it there. Also, before we leave it there, somebody asked me yesterday if I can re-upload a video that I made in 2015, and I called it The Message 2015. And I made that video for somebody who reached out to me and said they were thinking about committing suicide because coming into the truth had been really depressing for them, and they were going through a lot of the same things. And the person who asked me to re-upload that video, they said that video saved their life. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I did make that video for anybody else who might be feeling suicidal for coming into the truth movement. So I got to go dig up that video. I do have it saved on my external hard drive. It used to be online until Google censored me, June of 2017. But yeah, back-to-back days, kind of similar things. What this person said and then the other person requesting that video to be put back up. It's hard to believe that video was from over 3 years ago, The Message 2015. And I think when I made that video, I was hoping we'd be further along by now. So It's okay. We still got a lot of time ahead of us to get the mission done. But we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Until next time.